Never thought I would be mentioning this man's name again, Hunter Avalon, bro. Like, if you know, you know. But we got history a little bit. But then he talking to Sneeko, you know what I mean? And apparently they talking about, toxic masculinity and shit. Man, y'all some motherfuckers for sending me this shit. y'all some motherfuckers for sending me this shit, bro. But I want to see what this looks like. You know what I mean? With likes of Sneeko, Hunter. Just I'm curious. Let's see what this shit talking about.
Can you explain your point of view?
Well, I thought that we were going to talk about masculinity primarily. So I'd be more than happy to just jump into that, because when I watched your reaction to my Fresh and Fit breakdown, I think that you were like, you seemed like floored over my statement that masculinity is a social construct.
What does that mean to you? Because I hear that being thrown around by a lot of Twitter liberal people. Like, what does that mean, masculinity is a social construct?
So what it means is a lot of the times people think that masculine and male are just one and the same, like synonymous, when in reality there is biological males, of course, and then the expectations that we place on those males, how they should communicate the fact that they are male, is masculinity, and it's that is socially constructed. So there are definitely biological characteristics that we have classified as masculine, like physical strength, right? But there's not any one way to be masculine. And finally, I think another good example is that height.
It's not one way to be masculine?
No, there's not just one way to be masculine. You could be weak physically, but engage in other types of behaviors that might be categorized as masculine. There's no one way to be masculine.
Okay. Do you think you're as masculine as somebody like a UFC fighter?
No.
Or even me? Or would you? Okay, why? Is that a social construct, or is that just basic biology?
No, because what you're missing is that we as humans have categorized these certain behaviors as being masculine. So you saying, I have big muscles, we have categorized that as masculine. Women can have big muscles, but it doesn't mean that she's necessarily masculine. Similarly, height also is oftentimes considered masculine, and that is also based on biology, but it's women who wear high heels to become taller, and that's considered feminine. So height can be masculine, but if a woman is tall because she's wearing high heels, that would be feminine.
Do women wear heels because they want to be tall, or they wear heels because they like the way heels look? I don't know. I'm not a woman. But then, like, when women wear heels, if they're with a man, typically they want the man to be, typically the majority of the time, women want a man taller than them when they got heels on. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think heels have anything to do with the height. I just think it's like the shoe, how their legs look, how it makes them look in the dress, how it makes their calves look when they walking and shit. I think it has more to do with that as opposed to actually being tall.
There's no one way to be
when
masculine.
You say social construct, when I hear people say this, it basically just comes down to the fact that you're just like, humans have definitions for words. That's it.
Well, partially, yeah, but that doesn't mean that everything is a social construct. Because, again, it's not just the definitions, it's also what is the definition referring to. There's a collection of behaviors that are laid out in society as to how men should behave, and that's considered masculinity. I can give you an example here. This comes from the Conformity to Masculine Norms Inventory. It specified 11 norms as far as masculinity: winning, emotional control, risk-taking, violence, dominance, playboy, self-reliance, primacy of work, power over women, disdain for homosexuality, and pursuit of status. So plenty of that is socially constructed. The idea that you're a man, you need to be winning, that's socially constructed. There's nothing innate to men that means they have to win. Right?
What's your point? What's the point in saying that it's a social construct?
My point is that we have decided that certain behavior is masculine, and so long as we're able to acknowledge that, we can also then have conversations about the aspects of masculinity that are harmful to men.
Toxic masculinity?
Partially, but I also recognize how that term has been just completely...
Well, that's what you're saying. You're saying harmful masculinity, it's the same thing. So you're saying that there's certain parts of masculinity that we shouldn't embrace, and we should let that go because it's toxic, harmful.
Well, yeah, partially, yes, but it's not just toxic to, like, the women, right? It's toxic to the men. It hurts men specifically, and that's why I try to.
What parts of Max? What do you think is toxic masculinity?
The idea that you should suppress emotion. The idea that showing if you cry, for example, as a man, that's seen as
Bro, I
being
literally had the same conversation with this motherfucker, man. But I would say I'm a lot more informed on all this masculinity shit because, dove into it much more as a present time, man. But still, like, suppress emotion. That's not good. But I don't think suppressing emotion is tied to masculinity. Masculinity is knowing how to handle your emotions, how to control your emotions. If you suppress anything, that's going to be toxic, regardless of what the fuck it is. You got to get that shit out some type of way, right? But you have to know yourself, man. And if you're the type of man who needs to get emotion out certain ways, it may not look the most masculine getting that out, man, but everybody ain't on the same level of masculinity and shit, bro. Right? But yeah, if you suppress anything too much, it's gonna cause a problem at some point. You know what I mean? And then, like, masculinity being a social construct, like, I can vibe with what he's saying, man, but I don't understand why that's relevant. Like, if it's a social construct, society views masculinity to be a certain way, right? And men typically want to associate themselves with this type of masculinity, this level of masculinity, because a lot of times positive things are associated with it, man. Like winning, for example. Like, you be winning, you get recognition for winning, right? You get praise for it. You get awards for it. Women like you for it, bro. Like, realistically, man, like, real shit, dog, you can break it down to, like, the whole Andrew Tate thing, man. You fit. You're fit, you're in the gym, you're tall, you look good, you got money, you got women. You know what I'm saying? Like, more times than not, most men will want a life like that, man. But it takes a masculine men more times than not to pull that type of shit off. Are there exceptions to the rule? Can you have a successful life doing other ways or going about it other ways, like being a man, and however being a man is to you? Of course, man. But society has placed this standard on men, and it's hard to live up to that standard. And a lot of shit happens for men trying to achieve this level of success or this level of masculinity, man. And a lot of motherfuckers are not equipped for it. It's why they self-implode. A lot of self-destruction happens, suppressing emotion or trying to be something that you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's not you, it's not you. You gotta go about it certain ways, man. But society has definitely placed this standard, bro. And it ain't just on men. You know what I mean? Women respond to masculinity a certain way. Workplace responds to masculinity a certain way. Athletics responds to masculinity a certain way. You get respect, you get recognition. All that comes typically with this type of masculinity, man. So there's some people who are built for it, and there's some who are not. Right? If you have too much of anything, or if you have too much of anything, it could be bad. You know what I'm saying? There's toxic parts of anything, for that matter, man. I just don't like when we attack masculinity so much, bro, because it's good, right? It's good when it's done correctly. When it's done incorrectly, then all this other shit happens. You just have to know yourself at the end of the day.
Weak, that is absolutely detrimental to cry, for example, as a man. That's seen as being weak. That is absolutely detrimental to a man's mental well-being.
You're really going to argue with me and say that crying isn't weak?
It's not. And it's further evidenced by the fact that masculinity is a social construct. So, for example, this comes from a historian.
No. Okay, don't keep repeating that. It's very basic things. Like, yes, you should be able to express your emotions, but would you cry on camera?
I mean, maybe. It would depend on what I was talking about. But
would you...
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
I'm not just repeating that masculinity is a social construct. I'm explaining that in the Middle Ages, there was a trope of masculine weeping being a mark of religious devotion and knightly chivalry. So by the 16th century, it was well established that
all this is irrelevant because we're not living in that time now. So I guess he's trying to prove that masculinity is a social construct because it's changed throughout the years, but that's irrelevant. Because we live in right now in this time. And if you are trying to place yourself in the best position to be successful as a man, more times than not, if you approach masculinity a certain way, if you perform it or you embody it the way it's supposed to be, chances are you're gonna have a fruitful life, right? If that's what you want to do. If it's not you, that's a struggle that you gotta, come to terms with and realize that this is not, for you to live this life. Everybody can't be the best of the best in this masculine world. So we got all different types of men out here who walk life a certain way, bro. But when you try to tackle that and it's not you, you're not in control of your emotions, you're not achieving the success that you want, you ain't shit. Like, it's hard to be a man. Yeah, that standard is there. And the easiest way to try to live up to this standard is approach it with this masculinity that exists today. Can't talk about the shit that happened back in the day. You walk around with, I saw something about little dicks. Countless Greek sculptures included muscular men with small penises. So I guess, historian Paul Crystal has also conducted research into his ancient ideal. The small penis was consonant with Greek ideals of male beauty, right? So like you can't sit here and try to walk around flaunting the small dick thinking that you're gonna get the praise you got that they got back in these times. You walk around with a little dick, you go get fucking flamed, bro. They gonna blast your ass, which is gonna give me like, this is irrelevant going back. I mean, he's trying to prove his point about, you know what I'm saying, being a social construct. Cool. But, I mean, it is what it is, dog. It is what it is. You want to win? You want all that shit that comes with goddamn being a dope-ass man, you know, typically? Right? And even, I mean, and it's kind of iffy now saying that, bro, because they shifting. It's been shifted, right? Right? The attack on masculinity is real. They don't like your Harry Styles and your Biebers and your BTS. Like these, like that's like the masculinity that's out there right now. These are not, well, it's not masculinity, it's femininity, bro. But like that type of man is like being praised right now. So you could see masculinity changing right in front of our eyes right now, bro. But I'm not fucking with it. You know what I mean? I'm not fucking with it, right? And most men are not gonna want to fuck with it either, bro.
That a masculine man was supposed to have deep emotions and to show them, in some cases, through tears. So the fact that at one point that was masculine, and nowadays not showing emotion is considered masculine, demonstrates that masculinity has changed, which demonstrates that it is a social construct.
Because you have one thing from the 16th century that you just read?
No, that's not just the one thing. Do we want to look back at ancient Greece? You know, small penises used to be a symbol of masculinity back then.
This boy come with the facts.
Yeah, they were also having gay butt sex in Greece.
That's irrelevant to what I just said.
Do you acknowledge that certain aspects of masculinity have changed over time and throughout history?
Yeah.
You got to. Yeah.
Okay.
But you can be steered and go off into the wrong things. But masculinity and femininity is parallel in every single animal kingdom. Not just humans, but you don't see the leader, the father of a family in any animal needs to be strong, needs to be guided, needs to be winning, bringing food to the table. And if you waste time crying, then someone else is going to eat you alive.
Well, we are animals, but we are not animals in the sense that we operate only on instinct. We're human beings. We have far more complex mental capacity. And you're wrong, because if you want a man to provide for the family, that man needs to be mentally strong enough to do just that. And when you suppress your emotions because you're afraid of looking weak or looking feminine, you are damaging your own mental well-being.
It's not afraid of looking weak or looking feminine. It's just crying and being emotional as a man literally puts you in a vulnerable state. And
No,
you're
it
not
doesn't
capable,
necessarily.
Yes, at 100%, that's exactly what crying is being vulnerable. And the more you put yourself in a vulnerable position, the quicker somebody else could take advantage of you. If you spend more time being emotional, then someone else will walk all over you.
Okay, well, hold on. I think that you're a little bit confused. It can be vulnerable to express emotions and to cry, yes, but I'm not advocating that men just cry all day, every day at everything. Yeah, there's a time and a place to appropriately express emotion, of course, but this isn't just for men. This is literally for every human being. Women shouldn't be melting down crying at the job either. So there's a time and a place to express those emotions, and again, it's okay for a man to be vulnerable at times. That is a necessary component of, honestly, the human experience and the ability to better your own mental health. I'll read you some of this.
I agree with everything he just said, and I agree with Sneeko saying as well, man, but there's different types of men out there, right? Like a man who needs to cry to get shit out, that's not the most masculine. Like, I mean, it's all subjective though, because you're gonna have motherfuckers out here saying it's masculine because he knew how to get that out to make himself feel better than fucking be in control of his emotions. Yeah, valid. He knows himself. He needs to do that to get that out, bruh. But at the same time, it's not the most masculine thing to do. It's not the most masculine way to get your emotions out. To me, everybody's gonna have their own view of that. I don't think it is. There's other ways to address emotions, bro, internalizing things, bro. Like, but every man is fucking different, bro. Every man is fucking different, dog. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, men are out here trying to win. That's the objective. Out here to win. And I mean, I just said about like how men are being feminized, that's being praised, man. But the masculinity that I associate with what they're talking about right now is the standard that is being placed on men, and walk in life as masculine as you can is going to be able to, like a healthy masculinity, bro. Not the toxic shit where you are stupid, bro. Like when you know how to handle yourself, right? You know what I'm saying? Chances are you're going to have a fucking, a fruitful life when you're a winner, when you're stoic, when you're decisive, when you can control your emotions, when you're not weak, when you don't need to cry to get shit out. You can handle shit, bro. Like, and you're in control of it. You're not suppressing anything, right? But that's the thing. He keeps saying suppressing. Like, if you suppress emotion, you're gonna get fucked up, bro. A masculine man who's in control of his emotions does not need to suppress anything. You know what I'm saying? He knows himself. He's aware of what the fuck is going on, and he can digest things the way they need to be to, go through life accordingly, bro. You know what I'm saying? But every man is fucking different, dog. He's out here, you know what I'm saying, speaking for those who can't handle life, who actually suppressing shit, doing the fucking wrong things. And that's what I would say. I was talking to him right now. I'm like, I'm not talking about stuff. If I was talking to Hunter, like, I'm not, suppressing emotion in any form of fashion is fucked up. It is. You got it. I agree with you. You shouldn't suppress anything.
I don't want to keep reading studies and stuff like that. I want to have.
Well, I know you don't, because they all contradict all of this dumb shit that you constantly advocate for.
What dumb shit do I constantly advocate for?
You have talked all the time about how men don't need to be in therapy talking about their feelings. They need a tough older brother to just go punch them and tell them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you can't say that to every man, because every man ain't built that way, which is gonna fuck men up, which is like Hunter is saying. But Sneeko ain't talking about these men, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to like develop the winners and shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? They talking past each other for real.
Huff it out, pussy, or something like that. So yeah, you have advocated against the idea of men being intent or in touch with their emotions.
Do you go to therapy?
No.
Okay, why not?
Well, I used to, but I don't anymore.
Why'd you stop going? Why are you not in touch with your mental health?
Going to therapy is not synonymous with being in touch with your mental health. But when you say they don't need to express emotion, or they don't need to be talking about their feelings, that is advocating for the very problem that is affecting men.
You don't get it. So I don't say that you should suppress your emotions. You should feel it, you should go through it, but you should act accordingly. So you can be emotional and still do what you need to do. Going to therapy, wasting time, and even thinking that it's dumb shit that you should just keep pushing forward is going to be a time waster. So what happened to me recently, like when I got banned on YouTube, was obviously that shit made me feel emotional. 9 years of work, everything deleted, constant hit pieces about me, YouTube taking money away from me, my life's work all being stripped away. I could do what you want to do, go to therapy, I can talk about it, I could cry, or figure out a solution and still feel those things.
No, but
so
men have the.
I'm not done with my point.
Well, your point is irrelevant here and doesn't actually help your argument, because you didn't
hear my point.
I don't need to hear any more of your point or your personal anecdote. I don't give a fuck. The problem
it's not a personal anecdote.
The problem here, Sneeko, is that you are creating a dichotomy. It is not either push forward or roll over and start crying at therapy. It's both. It's you can be in touch with your feelings and your emotions, learn how to work through that, and continue pushing on. I'm not saying people should just give up. You're making this into a dichotomy.
No one said giving up. You're putting words in my mouth. Men have the capacity to feel emotions and then make the decision to keep going. Women and weaker people don't have the same ability to. They need to cry. They need to process it. But it can be processed through work. This new age idea that we need to go cry, that we need to go to therapy, that we need to talk about it, that I need to go on TikTok and talk about my problems is all a waste. When you can just keep pushing forward, you could have conversations with people, but spending more time investing into your feelings is ultimately a waste when you know what to do.
You're wrong. Again,
why am I wrong?
Because it's not a dichotomy. You should, quote unquote.
But he said if you already know what to do, it is a waste. I agree with that. If you already know, if you're in control of your shit, you don't need fucking therapy. You know what I mean? But like they talking past each other, bro. Like essentially saying the same fucking thing, bro. Like, Sneako's on the ultra fucking red pill shit, man. Like, be a fucking man, handle it, get your shit done so you can go out here and win, right? Ain't no pussyfooting around. I mean, I fall along the lines of that perspective too. That's the way I would talk to men as well, right? But I also know that me talking to men that way, there's gonna be men out here who are not built for that, and they hear that, it's gonna set them up for failure because they can't handle being talked to like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? And they need to know within that, but they need to be able to identify that within themselves to realize that this is not for you. You have to go about it the other way and take the hunter approach. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, get your emotions out, go to therapy, figure all that out, figure yourself out, right? And then, you know, but I don't know, man. Got two things going on. I'm trying to prevent men from doing self-harm to themselves, causing them harm, causing them points of struggle in their life. Right, but that's inevitable, bro. If you're not built for this world, bro, the world is hard. The standard is there. You can't meet that expectation. That's why a lot of motherfuckers out here and are there in therapy and depressed and, you know, going through all types of shit, bro, because that standard is fucking rough for a man, dog. And the best way to, you know, meet this standard is to take the fucking Sneako approach, to take my approach. Handle your shit. Get over it. The world ain't fucking, don't care about how the fuck you feel. Get over it. Get up, you know, wipe the fucking dirt off. Handle the shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? But for the second time, I'm saying it again. Every man can't listen to that. Every man ain't built for that, dog. So you got winners, you got losers, bro. It is what it is. And I feel like, I don't want to call the motherfuckers hunters speaking for losers, bro. But in the big picture, bro, like if you sitting here trying to go through therapy and figure yourself out, address your emotions while you proceeding through life, while you're doing that, the motherfuckers that can handle life are going to achieve shit a lot faster than you. It's just a dog-eat-dog world, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't gotta deal with that, you're gonna handle the shit. If you gotta deal with this hunter, you're gonna be left behind. Right? It's reality. It ain't equal for motherfuckers out here, bro. And every man ain't the fucking same, dog. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, hunters out here seems to be successful and shit, you know, speaking for this group of men. But big picture, dog, like the type of men that Hunter's speaking for will get ate alive by the men that Sneako was speaking for. Even though I don't even like agreeing with Sneako because he has issues himself, right? But at the end of the day, it's a dog-eat-dog world, bro. And the motherfuckers that can handle their shit are going to eat the motherfuckers that are Hunter's speaking for alive.
Know what to do and move forward and push on in your life. But the way in which you can do that more successfully is also by being in touch with your emotions and also being willing to cry at times.
What does crying accomplish, Hunter?
Okay, well, it's that crying can scientifically release certain chemicals in your brain that can help you assess the situation better. There's that. And it's also even more so, it's the suppression of emotion and crying that really does the damage. To be crystal clear, especially for people watching, I'm not advocating that all men need to be crying at the same rate as women. That would be pretty silly to expect. However, what I was trying to read you earlier, a second ago, there is a meta-analysis that was done on the relation between repressive coping and certain diseases. And they found that repressive coping literally increases your risk of developing cancer. So again, when you make it sound as if boys shouldn't be...
I'm not gonna watch this whole fucking shit, man. They keep saying the same thing over and over again. I was repeating myself too, man. My bad. You know what I'm saying? But he keeps talking about suppressing emotion. Suppressing emotion is bad. Don't do it. Motherfuckers who know how to control their emotions do not suppress them. It's not suppressing anything, right? But if there's some shit in you that you need to get out when you holding it in, that's gonna fuck you up. Duh. Next point.